Welcome back to another episode of the Casey Campbell podcast. Casey Campbell with you, of course. And we're pleased to be joined by, yes, he is back, back from the UK after 6 weeks. It's William Ferguson, of course, who is part of the Team USA scholarship program. Of course, that's Jeremy Shaw's program, and now it's his 32nd year. He just got back from the Formula Ford Festival as well as the Walter Hayes Trophy. William, along with Thomas Scrange and Elliot Budzinski. God, I hope I said those two right. Um, of course, we're part of the this year's class that ran the Formula Ford Festival in England. William, how are you, bud?
Good, good. Yeah, just got back about 2 days ago. Yeah, what an incredible experience to say the least.
So kind of talk about like how exciting was it to just be a part of all this?
Oh yeah, just being a part of such a prestigious program. So many amazing drivers have come from the program, and being able to go represent the United States in another country, especially England, where motorsports is a huge part of their culture. Yeah, it was a great time, a great experience.
For sure. Kind of talk about just going into being a part of this being a part of this program and getting to do all this. So for a lot, when this was announced, you guys were already in England.
Yeah,
You guys were already in the UK.
yeah, yeah. So about we had a while to prepare for it, and we had known probably about three weeks before, about a month before, and yeah, but it all happened really fast. Got went to the shootout, realized that I was going to be, or me, Elliot, and Thomas were going to be the uh, the recipients for 2022, and yeah, focused, got ready. Didn't have too much time, but had just enough time to kind of settle in and do as much practice on the sim and training mentally for the whole thing. And yeah.
So going in and being a part of just all of this, let's kind of go in chronological order. When you first got there, that was like your first flight outside of the United. Well, yes, was it the first flight you've had outside the United States?
Well, no, actually, all this year I've been going to, well, it's basically it's North America, but Canada, just above the border, in Toronto. And so I was going there all this year. And then the first time I flew out of the country was 2019 when I went to the Italy for the Rock Super Final. And that was after I won the Challenge of the Americas Championship. Um, but yeah, that was a while ago. Yeah.
For sure. When this is also the first time that you've been away from home. This is the first time you've also been by yourself in a not just in another state, but in a complete other country.
Oh yeah.
You're only 18 years old.
Yeah, that was an experience too in itself, just learning how to be self-sufficient. Um, Being over there for 6 weeks, it's a really long time, being away from family and friends, home, being thrown into a completely different environment. That was interesting to adapt to as much as the driving part of it. Um, yeah.
Okay, so let's start when you first got there. Like, what did you do? Like, what did you do? Because I know there was a couple weeks before the Formula Ford Festival, so you guys got to go to a lot of places, um, and of course, but as well as race in two of the most prestigious races in the UK. Um, but let's talk about all the other stuff that you did. You got to do a lot of stuff, including visit
Yeah.
one teams.
Yeah. That was, no, we got to do so much stuff. So when we got there, we were at the Ammonite shop for a little bit, and then went to Castle Coombe, our first track. That was incredible. That track, it was super tight. The walls were, not that far off the racetrack, and it was almost like an oval, just super high speed chicanes. Um, yeah, that was a fun track. Slightly sketchy, but it was cool. And after that, the three of us got to explore a town called Bath, or it was more of a city called Bath. And that was like our first experience of all the old buildings and things like that. It was really awesome.
Um, did you visit some race shops?
Oh yeah. So we got to see the first one we went to was Haas F1, and this was after, or no, this was after the Formula Ford Festival. We went to Haas F1. That was really cool seeing. It was more of a um like transportation warehouse kind of shop. They had some cars that they were working on in there, but it was more just like shipping things from Italy, and then they ship it out from there. And yeah, that was pretty cool to see. And yeah, and then after that we went to McLaren, that was a whole nother level. Yeah, mental. Seeing how one of the cool parts was in the carbon fiber area. They had, I don't know, maybe 30 guys in there. And the lady that was taking us on the tour said that in there it was so clean that you could do an open heart surgery. And I thought that was an interesting fact. Um, and yeah, no, I mean, we got to see where they make all the road cars too, that factory. And just seeing all the legendary cars like Senna and Mika Häkkinen and all those guys and those incredible cars. It was absolutely amazing. It was undescribable how cool it was to see all that history and that side of motorsports.
For sure. Um, but then let's talk about all the stuff on track. I know you had some good moments and some not so good ones, but
Yeah.
overall, kind of talk about. Let's start with the Formula Ford Festival. How did that go? And then we'll go into the Walter Hayes Trophy.
Yeah, so the festival was great. I mean, we had 3 really good days of testing. We started on Wednesday until Friday, and there was England weather. It was it was pretty much raining almost every day and overcast. Um, and but for the testing, we actually got some good mixed conditions. We got to do a little bit of dry racing as well, or dry practice, not so much dry racing. And yeah, so that was good. We got to do a lot of different setups and figure out what works best for that track and just well for ourselves learning the track as well. Um, and then yeah, I qualified. I was on pole for a little bit, and then red flag happened, went back out, didn't go as well as the first half of qualifying, ended up third. And then the first heat I didn't have the greatest starts and fell back to fifth, I believe, until like about 3 laps into the race. Uh, Coming out of Druids, somebody made contact with my right rear and kind of sent me off the track. So it was definitely avoidable. I think, if I had had a good start and been up at the front, that wouldn't have happened. Um, but it's still pretty unfortunate and frustrating way to start off the that weekend. But it was okay. We stayed focused, kept our head down. We went out for the progression race and won in the rain. Starting from, I believe I started ninth in that one. And yeah, so that was a good confidence booster, and we had good momentum going into the semifinal, which I had not the best of starts. Didn't learn from the first time. Dropped back to about, I think I was in dead last going into turn one in the semifinal. And then I was able to make my way all the way up to 10th, which was great. That was one of my greatest races. And thanks to that, I was able to make it back into the final after being taken out in the first heat. So that was a super good comeback. And then unfortunately, the final only lasted 3 laps before it got canceled from how heavy the rain was. There was actually lightning too. So that was intense. But yeah.
Okay, now let's go to the other race. How did the Walter Hayes Trophy go for you?
Yeah. So again, we got to do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, pretty much the same thing, a lot of different conditions. Thanks to Ammonite Motorsports, Andy runs an amazing team. We actually had two other Americans on the team, Max Esserson and Sean Rashid.
Yeah,
So the whole team was Americans. That was pretty cool. Um, and yeah, I mean, Andy runs a great team. He really got the cars dialed in for us. Um, Come Saturday, qualifying wasn't the best. We were sixth. Um, we knew we had kind of been slightly down on pace, just from testing. We were a little bit off. We were kind of chasing it, um, the previous 2 days, but it was still a good result, sixth. Not a bad place to start for the first race, and I actually ended up in first out of turn one because there was some contact with the leaders.
yeah.
So that was lucky break. And then yeah, was in first. And slowly fell back. I think I went back to fourth and then made my way back up to third. So still a great race. Yeah, got the podium. That was awesome. And and then from there, it was pretty much over. The semifinal, we started fifth, which was great. And first start went well. It was in fifth, and then it got red flagged, and then we had to do another restart. And going into the second corner, I was in fifth. Good start again. But we got taken out uh, again, right rear contact, exiting the corner. Um, and yeah, that put an end to our weekend pretty quickly. Fell back to last and only made it back up to, I believe it was 25th or 26th. So I didn't make it into the final. Um, Unfortunate way to end the 6 weeks, but it was still a really positive weekend. I mean, from having chasing pace earlier in the week to being right there up front, it was good.
All right. So let me ask you this. I know between you, Thomas, and Elliot, obviously there's different ways that you guys prepare to get ready for races.
Mhm.
Um, did you guys all talk to each other like before the race, or is everyone just kind of in their own head?
No, it was funny because we were kind of forced to live together for 6 weeks, but no, it was good. We all got along really well. And yeah, there was no real. It's funny. Andy said he was surprised on how well we actually got together. We were really competitive, but I think it was more productive than negative. I think how competitive we were with each other, and I think we all helped each other get quicker and build confidence. Because we're not there to beat each other. I mean, yes, we are, but at the same time, we're all part of the same Team USA scholarship, and we're there to, you know, do as well for the team and the program as we can. So working together helped a lot.
Yeah, I know that, but I was just like, I think that's well, really kind of what I was going after is it's like everyone's getting ready for a race. Like I know like you can do all the preparing that you want to do,
Yeah, yeah.
but like, do you guys when you're on the grid, do you did the three of you just like all talk to each other, or is everyone just kind of in their own head?
That's a good question. No, I think, well, if most of the time we never really, because our heats were separated, so we were never all three in the same race during the festival or the haze because of the way the heats turned out. Um, Me and Thomas were in the same semifinal at the Walter Hayes, and yeah, no, I mean we talked to each other a little bit, um, but we are also kind of just we say good luck to each other and all that, but it's more just trying to stay focused and each of us doing our job and keeping our heads down. Obviously, if we have the opportunity to work with each other or we were starting close to each other, then we'd figure something out. But other than that, it was more just keeping each other updated because we were in different groups, keeping each other updated with how the track conditions went and um, certain things like that. So, yeah.
Um, for the three of you, I know that when you all boarded the plane to go home in obviously all different directions, what was it like just to, to be like, yeah, we did this and we're always going to remember this?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was an incredible experience. I mean, I think we all became the three of us got pretty close to each other. I mean, Elliot and Thomas knew each other beforehand, but I didn't really know them very well at all. After this whole thing, we really got to know each other and each other's strengths and weaknesses. Um, but yeah, I mean, just being a part of such an incredible program, I think we were all just very proud. I think, yeah, I mean, none of us had the greatest weekend. I think we all struggled in our own ways with it, with whatever unlucky stuff happened. Um, but after the weekend, we were all like, yeah, like it's kind of hard to put into words, really. Um, but yeah, no, I think we're all just incredibly proud and thankful to be part of this.
So, what has it been like the last few days? I know you've been at home. Um, what's it just like to get, when you come from another country, especially in the UK with the big time difference and all that, it's got to take some getting used to get back to normal. How are you doing with all this? Because at the time that we're recording this, you've only been back for
Like just about 2 days.
okay.
Yeah. So haven't been back for very long at all. No, it's still a bit jet lagged. Still waking up really early in the morning. Um, but yeah, no, other than that, it's really nice to be back home. I mean, I would love to stay and race I mean, I'd love to keep racing over there as long as I can. But this was also like the longest I've ever been away from home, especially by myself too. Um, so it's pretty relaxing.
For sure. All right. Well, William Ferguson, thank you so much for coming on, and thanks. Congrats on all the successes that you've had, and we'll look forward to seeing what you have planned for 2023.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Casey.